Yo, what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. Before we do, Mrs. Weedman and I are going to be covering the latest cannabis research in science and health, political news, international news, and Mrs. Weedman's going to end it with some amazing cannabis culture. Now, let's get normal with some Garage Gas 2.0 grown by Stinkfinger Farms. Stinkfinger. And the grower is Wes Slow. And I'd like to thank our friend Midwest Terps for hooking it up from the Midwest Terp off Illinois versus Michigan. We have not smoked this strain yet. We have not smoked anything from Stinkfinger Farms. Super excited because this Garage Gas 2.0 strain is a niche small batch cross often rooted in the classic OG Kush and chem genetics, known for its deep, old school gas and chemical funk. Typically ranges between 15 and 30%, depends on the phenotype. This has some deep physical relaxation, heavily sedating couch lock properties. Ooh, my fave. And mental euphoria. Earthy, sharp, and highly pungent diesel, skunk, and fuel notes. And this is Garage Gas 2.0. And we like to thank Midwest Terps, but also Wes Slow from Stinkfinger Farms for this incredible strain. And while I'm getting baked, Mrs. Weeman's going to tell you a little bit about 8decades.com.
Yeah, head on over to 8decades.com. That is our baby, our cannabis lifestyle brand. If you head over, you will find all sorts of goodies. We created our brand to continue our advocacy and help stomp the stigma. Our products are really high quality. They're meant to be your one-and-done smoke set, storage jars, and some beautiful hemp clothing, tote bags, and just a bunch of other goodies. You'll also find links to the Weedman 420 podcast, and you'll also find swag for the Weedman 420 Chronicles podcast. So head on over, sign up for our newsletter. I promise you won't get bombarded with lots of emails because that's my job and I do terribly at it. So sign up for the newsletter and at least get free shipping. And when I get around to putting out a newsletter, I will. And when I've got some good news to share, I will share it and you'll be first to know. So head on over to 8decades. That is EIGHT, decades.com.
Love it. And as we always say, as you support 8decades.com, we get to pay our producer, Shoddy.
That's right.
We love it. So everybody, real quick. We talked about this last week, and we're super excited about this. So if you've been thinking about getting into the cannabis industry or expanding your operation here in Illinois, you might want to check out Cannabis Campus. They've got a massive 217,000 square foot facility built to support cannabis cultivation, infusion, extraction, beverages, and transportation. Kind of a one-stop shop setup for cannabis businesses. What's really interesting, they help with the complicated stuff too. Construction, permits, state regulations, and licensing. And from what we're understanding, they're even working with partners to help support distribution and also sales opportunities. That is fantastic right there. All that in a bag of chips, right, Mrs. Weedman?
That's right.
So if you're serious about getting established in the Illinois cannabis market and want to learn more, you can reach out to Cameron Kuhn at CKUHN100@yahoo.com. Or you can send us, Mrs. Weedman and I, a DM, and we'll connect you with Cameron and the team. And also, stay tuned after our credits. If you're listening on YouTube, after our credits, you can watch a 2-minute and 34-second video of their facility. So, but also make sure you tell them that the Weedman 420 Chronicles podcast sent you. So, and we had a chance to do a nice little tour of the facility. I'm telling you right now, if you really want to get into the Illinois market, or if you're in Illinois and you don't have the money to do a facility, infusion license, or a craft grow facility, I'm telling you right now, this could be your one-stop shop. Reach out to them. They could help you if you're in any of the 50 states or 49 states, and this one, 50 would be Illinois. Or if you're outside the United States and you want to come to the United States, telling you, reach out to Cameron Kuhn and check out this cannabis campus. I think you'll be highly, highly, highly thrilled, and it'd be pretty cool. So, and we had a good weekend, Memorial Day weekend, right? It was a lot of fun. We had some kids over. First barbecue of the year was great. Great deal on those ribeyes. What did you pay for those? How many steaks did we get?
There was like at the
Farm and
Fleet. There was a truck selling. I think they were prime or choice cuts of meat, and so I don't know. It was like a promo offer. It was like $40. I think it was $45 with tax, and we got 20 ribeyes that were like smash burger patties. They're very thin, but very good quality meat. They were really tasty.
Yeah, they were good. So we got our first barbecue end of the year. It was great. Looking forward to many more. We also watched a really good movie about that octopus. Do you remember the name?
Oh, no. What was that?
With Sally Field. Oh, my gosh. What a good movie. So if you have Netflix,
Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Yes.
It was sweet. It's not, again, what was the last movie we watched that also wasn't like a very complex storyline, but it was just a good, solid movie?
I don't remember.
Well, this was sweet. It was just a sweet story.
It's about an octopus, a giant octopus.
A relationship between a worker in the aquarium and an octopus in the tank.
Yes.
And it was sweet.
If you want to watch just a nice, lighthearted drama.
Kind of a tearjerker.
A little bit at the end, of course, yes. I suggest watching that movie on a night. Get Stony Baloney and have some popcorn and watch that. Because it was good. It was very, it was not sad.
It was an endearing story.
There you go. Thank you, Mrs. Weedman, for that word, endearing. I appreciate it. And also, big news today, too.
Big news.
You watched, during dinner, we watched, what is that?
Oh, yes. I'm a Bravo junkie. That's my channel. If I'm not watching like network TV just as background noise, then I've got Bravo on. And there's some shows I pay more attention to than others. It's just dumb airtime, right?
Yep.
Like it's stuff that can be on in the background, pay attention when you feel like it, and you're not missing much when you don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I recently got Mr. Weedman sucked into the
because we watched it during dinner.
Summer House show, and one of the couples on Summer House, Kyle and Amanda, are just volatile. Always. There's always drama. And they split at the end of the season. So I don't want to, I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't already know if you watch this, but tonight was the reunion, and Amanda had to face the
group.
The group.
And after what she did with one of the other group members.
Yeah. Whoa. I have to watch the rest of it tonight. I had to stop it early, so I get caught up on the drama.
You did. And I get caught with you because we watched it during dinner on a Tuesday night. Right before we record, we're having dinner and we watched Summer House. And I'm just like, well, I have no choice.
Oh, come on. You knew their names today.
I actually did. After how many years are you watching that show? Yeah, I actually finally know all their names. Actually, not all their names, but a few of them. So I'm not always one to I'm not a big brag artist. I don't like to brag about things, and this is not to brag. This is to thank all of you out there that have been listening to our show for the last 7 years, because Mr. and Mrs. Weedman got some fantastic news this morning. I don't normally check all the time. Once a month, I usually check our downloads and how we're doing, how many more cities around the world are listening to us, and countries. That's the stuff I'm really, really like. I'm not. Downloads are fine. It's just I enjoy looking at the countries and the cities that people listen to us. But there's also podcast ranking websites out there, and we're on a bunch of them. And today was a very, very, very special day. And I check, usually at the end of the month, I usually check the ranking platforms just to see where we're at and see how we're doing, and just to look at what other cannabis podcasts out there and how they're doing. I've been, I enjoy watching everybody, grow. It's amazing. And this morning, there's two websites I go on quite often, once a month, to look at. And one is called FeedSpot, which we've talked about in the past, and there's one called Million Podcast. And we got ranked on two of them. We got ranked on the top 80 and this is out of 465 cannabis podcasts, but the top 80 cannabis podcasts. Guess where we were at this morning, Mrs. Weedman? You want to tell them?
Nope, I'm leaving that up to you.
You're leaving it up to
That's
me?
all you.
Okay.
Yep.
I woke up this morning, got to my desk, started drinking a cup of coffee, and I went on and I looked, and to my surprise, I see our logo at the number one spot. And I'm laughing because I started like, Mrs. Weedman. I literally booked off my chair and ran to the kitchen. And I'm like, Mrs. Weedman, we got some really good news. And she's like, what? And I showed her my phone, and it was just like all smiles all day from the both of us. It was just absolutely amazing. So that was the 1 million podcast. And then we got ranked on another one for the top 40 out of 300 something drug podcasts, which I still think is funny, that we're even in that ranking. And I woke up this morning to that one too, and we were number 2.
Wow.
In top drug podcast.
Okay, so this is important because 1 million podcasts, you might be like, I don't even know what that is, but a lot of people do. So you and I may not know about them, but some over 2 million people are going there. So they have the podcast, it's called 1 Million Podcasts, and it says the podcast database for outreach. Search 2.7 million podcasts. Filter by host, location, listener demographics, beat, and 14 more filters. Unlock verified emails. Export ready-to-pitch lists in minutes, not weeks. So they've got 2.7 million podcasts in their portfolio. They've got 1.2 million verified contacts. They have 62 million episodes indexed. They're representing 180 languages and over 11,000 beats and categories. So we're talking about a very expansive database, and that's quite flattering that we made it on their list at all.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to all of you out there, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in these rankings and we wouldn't even be on these websites and stuff. So I want to thank you all around the world, 185 countries. I just looked at our cities. We're at like 8,800 and something cities now. And to all you out there that have listened to the show once or have listened to every episode, both the We Met 420 Chronicles and the Grow Hour, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm humbled and I'm honored to do this show every week, now even more. And I appreciate y'all out there for keeping me motivated. So thank you for just being a part of this in 7 years. And and I tell you what, that one person, that first fucking download, thank you. I say it all the time. Thank you. And the first 100 downloads, thank you. And thank you for wherever we're at today. You know, a couple 100,000, 300, 400, 500,000. It's crazy. And we appreciate y'all out there. And for just taking a liking to us and really being a part of this journey. I love you. And Mrs. Weedman, I love you too. Proud of you.
I love you too.
So thank you. So you ready to get the show started before I get all sappy?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's do this. This research article comes from the Journal of Experimental and Clinical Psychopharmacology, available through the U.S. National Institute of Health, and it asks pretty interesting questions. Why do Americans use cannabis? All right, y'all, this one gets interesting because instead of politicians, news anchors, or your Aunt Karen telling us why people smoke weed, research actually asks cannabis consumers themselves. It's a question we've been asking on this show for a very long time when we have a guest on or when we did our first, you smoke weed because. So the study looked at cannabis users across the United States to understand the real reason people use marijuana. And spoiler alert, it's not just to get high and eat snacks. Although, let's be honest, snacks definitely made somebody's list, especially Mrs. Weedman's. Sorry, Miss Weedman. Researchers found that people use cannabis for a mix of medical, emotional, recreational reasons. A lot of participants reported using cannabis to help with anxiety, stress, depression, sleep problems, and pain relief. Others said they used it simply for relaxation, enjoyment, social settings, or creativity. Basically, cannabis wasn't a one-size-fits-all thing. People had very personal reasons for using it. One of the biggest takeaways, mental health and stress relief, came up constantly. Many users reported turning to cannabis to calm down, cope with stress, or relax after tough situations. And honestly, in today's world, bills high, groceries high, stress high. No wonder some folks are reaching for flower too. Mrs. Weedman and I just turned on our air condition today.
We did.
We didn't. I
We
didn't
gave
want
in.
to, but it was Yuki was melting. The black fur was just melting into the tile. And Mrs. Weedman said, it was like 83 degrees in the house. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" I said, "I don't know. It's not June yet. I don't like putting the air conditioner on until June." And she's like, "Your dog is melting right now." I said, "All right, let's put it on." And Mrs. Weedman said, "Are you stressed?" I said, "About what?" She goes, "Bills." I'm like, "No, I'm not stressed about bills, but I don't know. I just don't want our bills to go up." And right now it's May, it's not June or July where it's like 90 yet. So, but between Mrs. Weedman melting and the dog melting, I was like, all right, set it up. Let's go. So, but yes. So, sometimes, you get a little grocery bills, gas bills, you kind of get a little like, uh-oh. So no wonder some folks are reaching for flower. Researchers noted that emotional regulation was one of the strongest themes in why people consume cannabis. The study also showed a major difference between medical style use and recreational use, but there was an overlap too. Some people started using cannabis for fun and later realized it helped with migraines, insomnia, or anxiety. Others started for symptoms relief and ended up enjoying the relaxation side of it too. Basically, for a lot of users, the line between medical and recreational cannabis gets pretty blurry. Another interesting point, sleep kept showing up. A bunch of participants said cannabis helped them wind down at night or deal with insomnia, which honestly tracks what a lot of consumers have been saying for years. I'm not trying to party. I'm just trying to sleep without staring at the ceiling for hours thinking about the embarrassing stuff I did in 1990. Sorry, I'm a Generation Xer. Still, researchers point out that more long-term studies are needed to better understand sleep benefits and the downsides over time. Pain management was another major reason people reported using cannabis. Chronic pain sufferers in particular said cannabis helped them manage discomfort and sometimes reduce reliance on other medications. Researchers stress that while many users report positive experiences, scientists still want larger and longer-term studies to better understand effectiveness and best practices. The researchers also touched on something important. Cannabis experiences are extremely individual. What works for one person may not work for another. Different strains, cannabinoid levels, tolerance, methods of consumption, and even people's biology can completely change someone's experience. One person hits a gummy and deep cleans their kitchen. Another person takes the same gummy and suddenly thinks their ceiling fan is judging them. We've seen it all. Overall, the study paints a picture that cannabis use in America is way more complicated than the old stereotypes suggest. People aren't all using it for the same reason. For many, it's about wellness, symptom reliefs, stress management, sleep, or simply quality of life. And just so you know, in today's world, a lot of people don't care about the strain name. They don't want to know that it's Super Boof or Titty Sprinkles or Skittles. That doesn't tell them anything about what the strain does for them. The more people that are coming to explore cannabis because they hear of all the great things that we just read in that article, why people use cannabis, why Americans, just people around the world use cannabis socially, but also all those other things. We need to get better at explaining cannabis, explaining what people are using it for. And people come and ask you, what does this strain do? Well, it's Super Boof. It's great. It's 35% THC strain. It's this. No, they want to know, will it help them sleep? Will it take away pain? Will it take away their anxiety? Will this strain make their anxiety go through the roof or calm it down? Will it help with their glaucoma? That's what they want to know. And that's where we as an industry have to get better and as a community have to get better. So share this show. They'll learn a lot. So Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
Tell us now, Cannabis Tips for Seniors. There's a new book addresses aging well with cannabis. Tell us about it.
Yep. If you thought cannabis education was just for the younger crowd, think again, right? There's a new book that was featured by Green State in this article, and it's saying that older adults are becoming one of the fastest growing cannabis demographics. And they've got questions like, how much is too much? And why did this edible make me reorganize my sock drawer at 2 a.m.? Well, turns out there's actually science behind easing into cannabis as we age. According to Green State, Harvard-affiliated physician and cannabis specialist Dr. Peter Grinspoon recently released a book called Aging Well with Cannabis: Feel Better, Sleep Better, and Live Better with Marijuana and CBD. The goal? Helping older adults safely navigate cannabis for things like chronic pain, sleep problems, anxiety, and overall quality of life without diving into it head first and regretting it. This is interesting. Dr. Grinspoon says one of the biggest mistakes older adults make is using modern cannabis like they used it back in the day. But grandma's Woodstock weed is not the same thing as today's dispensary weed that's hitting at like an average of 20% THC or more. He explained that some older adults consume the same amount they remember from decades ago and accidentally overdo it, because today's cannabis is significantly stronger. That dose is the equivalent of, I just wanted to sleep and now I'm questioning the meaning of wallpaper. Suddenly Nana's holding onto the recliner like she's on a roller coaster. One of the biggest takeaways from the book is a phrase cannabis consumers have heard forever: start low and go slow. Dr. Grinspoon recommends beginning with low-dose options, especially tinctures, mild edibles, or topicals, rather than smoking. He says topicals are often a great starting point because they're considered low risk and they don't create the same intoxicating effects. CBD may also be the first step for people dealing with anxiety, sleep struggles, or chronic discomfort before even introducing THC. The article also highlighted some eye-opening data. A 2024 poll cited by AARP and the University of Michigan found that 1 in 5 adults over 50 reported using cannabis in the previous year, often for relaxation, pain relief, sleep, or mental wellness. That tells you something big is shifting in the stigma conversation. Older adults aren't just asking about cannabis anymore. They're trying it. Honestly, good for them. If cannabis helps somebody sleep, hurt less, or relax a little more, why not have that conversation? And there may be a real message here that cannabis education matters at every age. This isn't about telling seniors to get blasted. It's about understanding dosing, product types, and safer ways to explore plant medicine with realistic expectations. And with more older adults turning toward cannabis, books like Aging Well with Cannabis are probably going to become a lot more common. That's good.
Yeah, between the first article that we talked about and that one kind of mirrored one another, and really did a great job like explaining like why, and like we were just going into, like, we have to start being better at the feeling, and not the feeling of cannabis, what you get when you smoke it. Like, like I'm looking for something for sleep. Well, here's 5 different strains we carry that are for sleep.
Right.
They won't keep you up. They won't keep you staring at the ceiling. These are the knockout punch, what you want, not to think about. Oh, you don't want a thinking strain right now.
Right.
Oh, I hate that when when we smoke sometimes and, you get a strain. Yeah, it couch locks you, but you're fucking staring at the ceiling thinking about the life choices you made your whole life. I hate that. I don't mind that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening, but not fucking at 11 o'clock at night. At 11 o'clock at night when I want to go to bed. That's the worst. So we all need to be better if we want to introduce this back into people's lives, or new people have never tried it. So yeah, great stuff, Mrs. Weedman. This next article comes from Nautilus, covering some fascinating new research that asks questions a whole lot of stoners have probably wondered. How are regular cannabis users eating snacks at midnight but somehow still weighing less? This one sounds a little backwards at first, because if you've ever seen somebody absolutely destroy a bag of chips after smoking, you'd think cannabis users would be all gaining weight. I mean, the munchies are practically part of weed culture. But here's the weird part. Study after study has found that regular cannabis users actually tend to weigh less and have lower rates of obesity than non-users. Scientists call it a kind of cannabis paradox. So what's the deal? Researchers at the University of California, Riverside recently decided to dig into the mystery using mice, fed a high-fat, high-sugar diet to mimic obesity in humans. Scientists tested 2 different cannabis approaches. One group got pure THC, while another got whole plant cannabis extracts that included other cannabinoids and compounds from the plant. Then researchers tracked metabolism, body weight, blood sugar response, and here's where it gets interesting. Both groups of mice lost weight, but the group receiving the whole plant cannabis extract seemed to do better metabolically. Their blood sugar regulation improved, while the mice getting THC alone still had trouble regulating glucose even after weight loss. I always say, give me all the stuff in that plant. Researchers think this could mean other compounds in cannabis, not just THC, may play an important role in metabolism and how the body handles fat and sugar. Basically, the plant entourage may matter, which is kind of funny because cannabis consumers have been saying for years, it's the whole plant, man. While scientists were over there with their clipboards, still just trying to fucking catch up. Now, before anybody's listening says, perfect, I'm replacing my treadmill with blunts, researchers were real clear. This does not mean cannabis is a weight loss drug. They're not telling people to spark up to lose pounds. What scientists are really trying to understand is why cannabis users often show lower body mass indexes despite increased appetite. And this isn't the first time researchers noticed this trend. A long-term U.S. study following adults over several years found that while everybody gained some weight over time, regular cannabis users gained less weight than non-users. Scientists still don't fully understand the mechanism, but the pattern keeps showing up in the data. Now, researchers have a few theories. One possibility is the endocannabinoid system, which helps regulate appetite, metabolism, energy balance, and fat storage. Another theory is that regular cannabis users may affect insulin sensitivity or how the body processes calories. Some researchers also think cannabis may indirectly help people improve sleep, reduce pain, or lower stress, things that can influence weight too. Of course, let's keep it real. Everybody reacts differently to cannabis. One person gets high and suddenly wants celery sticks and nature documentaries. Sounds like me. Another person raided the kitchen like a raccoon and found the pantry unlocked. We all know somebody who turns into a snack detective at 11 p.m. I wish I had the video right now. I'm pointing at the person sitting right across from me right now, looking for cookies, ice cream, and they forgot they already ate. The big takeaways here. Scientists are learning there are more going on with cannabis and metabolism than people assume, but they still far away from saying weed causes weight loss. More human studies are needed before anyone starts calling cannabis diet weed. Well, that's why the whole plant's great, because you might get some THCV in there that makes you not want to eat. Mm-hmm. Just that's the diet in the weed right there. You have other cannabinoids too that make you might not want to eat. So that's why Mrs. Weedman always.
I haven't had that problem. I need that magical strain because, weed for me is like a reason to eat. Yeah.
But you have been you got a strain that was just straight CBG.
Yeah.
And you've been mixing that with regular flour, and you said it's been doing very, very well for your body.
It's helpful during the day.
Yeah.
So that I can consume and keep my inflammation down, keep my headaches down.
Yeah, you got it. Well, it was a huge THC. It was all THC, wasn't it? CBG, right?
17% CBG.
Yeah. It's only like 0.5% of THC, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mix it 50-50 with a daytime strain and smoke it throughout the day. And I don't really feel head high at all. I feel very clear-minded, but my body feels
loose
and comfortable, and yeah.
Yeah, we were smoking that all day yesterday. It was great.
It's nice.
It was really nice. So, but remember I told everybody on the last episode I never talk about cats. Well, I kept my promise, didn't I? So, CBD oil for feline gingivotomatous. I butchered that.
Try to say it better. What?
Thanks, Ms. Weedman. Go ahead. Tell us about felines.
So gingivostomatitis.
There you go. Thanks.
Yeah, I still am not. And I'm choking on weed. Did you want the joint?
I took a couple hits. Thank you.
So this is a case report. If you've ever had a cat with dental issues, you already know it can get rough fast, right? We're talking pain, drooling, trouble eating, bad breath, weight loss, and in severe cases, owners face heartbreaking decisions. A new preprint study published through preprint.org looked at whether CBD-rich cannabis oil could help cats suffering from feline chronic gingivostomatitis. We're just going to call that FCGS. Easy enough. It's a painful inflammatory mouth disease that can seriously impact a cat's quality of life. Now, before we get too deep, quick disclaimer here. This was a single case report, not a giant clinical trial, and it's a preprint, meaning it hasn't gone through peer review yet. But the findings were definitely interesting. Researchers followed a 5-year-old male cat diagnosed with severe feline I thought I was doing the acronym, but it didn't give it to me, and I don't remember what it was. Gingivostomatitis, a condition that causes, I think I'm going to say it different every time. It causes chronic inflammation in the mouth and can make eating incredibly painful. This cat had already undergone partial tooth extraction and dental treatment, but symptoms came back. Something researchers say is unfortunately common with this disease. The cat was also positive for FIV and FELV viruses that can make treatment even harder. That's when veterinarians established a CBD-rich, broad-spectrum cannabis oil given twice daily at doses between 0.5 and 1 milligram per kilogram of body weight over about 2 months. So keep in mind, CBD-rich broad-spectrum oil means that there's going to be a little bit of THC in there. Okay? That's the important part from what we've learned. Symbiotic, right?
Need a little bit
Reactions.
to kickstart it.
A little bit of both. According to the report, the owner noticed something pretty quickly. The cat started eating better from day one. Researchers also documented reduced mouth inflammation and fewer ulcers following in follow-up exams. The response appeared dose-dependent, meaning the higher dose seemed to provide stronger symptom relief. Now, there were some side effects worth mentioning because facts matter. At the higher dose, the cat experienced sleepiness and somnolence, so vets reduced the dose for a while. Later in treatment, there were also episodes of diarrhea, but researchers said it was difficult to blame directly on the CBD because the cat was later found to have another major health issue that may have been involved. Blood work overall stayed stable, according to the report. Researchers believe that CBD may help because of its anti-inflammatory, analgesic, or pain-relieving, antioxidant, and immunomodulatory effects. They also discuss something cannabis folks hear all the time, the entourage effect, where cannabinoids and terpenes may work together. This oil wasn't just CBD, it also contained trace cannabinoids and terpenes that researchers think could contribute to inflammation relief and comfort. But, and this is very important, researchers were very clear that this is not a magic cure. They said more studies are needed, especially controlled studies involving cats and long-term safety data. What this case suggests is that CBD-rich cannabis oil may become a promising supportive therapy for cats with severe inflammatory mouth disease, especially when traditional treatment options fail or symptoms keep coming back. And if there's a bigger takeaway here, it's that veterinary cannabis research keeps expanding. From pain management to inflammation and quality of life, researchers are exploring whether cannabinoids may have a place for our furry feline friends. That's pretty cool.
We finally got to talk about cats.
Yeah.
Felines.
Yeah, we never, I think that's probably the first time.
First one. So all
Since
you...
we talked about like the Tiger King.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Holy shit. Tiger King. I haven't heard that in fucking forever. Oh my God, was that a fucking fast trend here and gone? Right? Holy shit. So, so I apologize that we don't talk much about cats, but there's not a ton. So that I got to find some, I told you I would do it, and we did. We kept our promise. So Political state and business news. Hash products are still a small slice of the cannabis pie nationally, but in some states, concentrates are absolutely booming. Certain markets are showing consumers are willing to pay for stronger terp-heavy products instead of basic flower. Apparently, some folks looked at regular weed and said, nah, I like my cannabis turned up to the expert mode. Everything's bigger in Texas, including cannabis business drama. State officials reportedly revoked a major cannabis company's permit to enter the medical marijuana market, creating uncertainty and legal questions. Somewhere in Texas, executives are stress-eating brisket, wondering how paperwork suddenly became their biggest enemy. And you all have some fucking phenomenal brisket in Texas. So a proposed hemp crackdown could potentially impact access for some seniors and patients relying on hemp-derived products while raising concerns about affordability and healthcare access. Because apparently in America, we can debate cannabis for 40 years, but still somehow make grandma's CBD cream a congressional crisis. Illinois is tightening things up. Not just on cannabis, on everything. Sorry. Up with new cannabis plant monitoring rules and updated fees aimed at improving oversight in the legal market. Regulators say it's about accountability and transparency. Growers hearing new fees were probably like, oh, cool, another thing eating into my harvest money. Virginia's governor vetoed a bill. There's going to be a lot about Virginia, everybody, in this episode, because there's a lot of shit going on in Virginia right now. Oh, my God, I feel so sorry for you all out there. I love you. You are now just as bad as Alabama. And you're recreational voted in, not even medical anyway. I mean, you could smoke weed. You just can't go to a dispensary and buy it. It's fucking horrid. So anyway, Virginia's governor vetoed a bill that would have launched legal recreational marijuana sales after lawmakers rejected proposal amendments. So legalization there remains stuck in political limbo. Virginia residents are basically standing out like, wait, weed is legalish? But also not really? Somebody explain this mess. Okay, so all the taxes that governor raised on you the first day as governor could have turned it around, not raised any other taxes, and just implemented a good cannabis tax at like 8% state tax and used that for all the shit that she raised your taxes on. You guys got some whacked out shit going on, Virginia. I love you. I feel for you. Praying for you that somebody with some common sense fucking fixes it. So, the U.S. Army reminds soldiers that marijuana remains completely off limits, even if CBD lotions are banned under military policy. Even CBD lotions. Isn't that just weird? Yeah. So, yes, apparently your sore knee cream can still get military side-eye. Somewhere a soldier said, you mean I can survive boot camp, but not lavender CBD? Colorado's officials say that state's illegal hemp market is way bigger than most people realize, with one official claiming the size would blow your minds. That sounds less like regulation talk and more like somebody walked into a warehouse and said, well, this escalated quickly. The latest cannabis harvest report suggested that market is shifting. Right, growers adapting to changing demand, prices, and consumer habits. Producers are trying to stay profitable. With competition heats up, translation, cannabis businesses are basically playing financial dodgeball while hoping their flower still flies off the shelves. A marijuana DUI case in Illinois was dropped after issues surfacing involving questionable evidence from drug testing labs. The situation is raising concern about accuracy and accountability, because ruining somebody's life over bad paperwork sounds like the kind of mistake nobody should just shrug off. Also in Illinois, lawmakers are back at it again with another omnibus cannabis bill aiming to tweak rules across the state legal marijuana industry. Illinois cannabis laws get updated so often, growers probably refresh legislation pages more than weather apps during harvest season. Now, Mrs. Weedman, I'm passing that J back over to you.
All right. More political, state, and business news. The TSA wants everybody to calm the fuck down. Despite clickbait headlines, their marijuana policy has not changed. Weed rules still depend on where you're flying and those local laws. So no, this is not your sign to toss your gummies in your carry-on and hope for the best. Virginia, they're back. Cannabis politics are getting spicy after one senator called legalization promises false hope following the governor's veto of a retail marijuana market. At this point, Virginia residents deserve a flower freedom and not waiting on lawmakers to figure shit out. Come on. Massachusetts voters may eventually weigh in on marijuana taxes, with discussions heating up about whether cannabis taxes should be reduced or repealed. Consumers everywhere heard lower prices and immediately said, now that sounds like forward motion. A new Utah poll shows growing support for medical marijuana, while recreational cannabis still has mixed reactions among voters. Utah's over there taking baby steps toward cannabis reform, like somebody's testing bathwater, one toe at a time. Drip, drip, drip. Slow. Potatoes grow slow, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's just the way Utah does stuff. Slow. The IRS reportedly wants a marijuana company to return a tax refund tied to the dreaded 280E rule, plus interest, of course. Imagine finally getting money back and then the government sliding back in like, actually, we need that back. Only the government. Rapper Wiz Khalifa is reportedly facing legal trouble. Sorry, Wiz. Tied to a cannabis-related issue overseas after Romania pursued sentencing connected to a past case. When you're traveling internationally with weed, triple check your stuff, Make sure it's legal where you're going. Just be safe. A Pennsylvania Republican lieutenant governor candidate, wow, that was a mouthful, says marijuana legalization would be catastrophic for the state. Meanwhile, residents are likely side-eyeing the potholes, their taxes, and grocery store prices, thinking, are we sure weed is a big problem? Like, it could help.
Makes no sense.
I know.
For a lieutenant governor to say that.
Virginia, your governor says she vetoed marijuana sales because she worried the rollout timeline would move too fast and there would be too many dispensaries. Too many dispensaries? Geez Louise, let's not panic before you've even started. She's going to control the whole thing anyway, isn't she?
They're saying now, not till they were saying 2027. Now they're saying maybe possibly, that doesn't make sense, but maybe 2028 now.
That's so stupid. Hemp may be headed into an unexpected glow-up, with companies exploring CBD-based plastics that could change manufacturing demands. Look at hemp, I should say, out there reinventing itself like a woman after a breakup. New purpose, fresh energy, and suddenly everyone's like, ooh, look at her. Some cannabis business owners are exploring tax-free exit strategies when selling companies, trying to avoid financial headaches during buyouts. Honestly, if anyone deserves less paperwork stress, it's cannabis entrepreneurs. They've already survived regulations that are harder than assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. I mean, come on. All right, Mr. Weedman.
You actually like my one-liners this week. You actually used them and just changed them a little bit, though.
I fixed them up.
I like it, though. No, I'm glad you used them.
Mr. Weedman writes my news segment and he puts in jokes that don't roll for me. I'm like, I can't. It doesn't even make sense.
But you took
for
what
me,
I
so
wrote and you just put different
I made
wording.
my words.
Yeah, good. No, I like it. It made me laugh.
Trying to be funny.
That was good.
No, I'm not.
You made me laugh. You made me laugh.
Hey, every once in a while.
Yep. An Indiana court ruling tied to cannabis issues is drawing attention as neighboring states continue sorting through marijuana policy confusion. Indiana, watching legal weed happen everywhere around them, is starting to feel like the neighboring peeking through the blinds going, y'all wild over there. New Mexico cannabis sales have officially topped $2.2 billion since legalization launched in 2022. Great job, New Mexico. Cookies founder Berner says he turned down opportunities with major music moguls to build his cannabis empire instead. Talk about betting on yourself. Most people struggle choosing dinner. This dude said, nah, I'm building a weed kingdom. Mad respect, yo. An Alaska bill letting people send old marijuana convictions is heading to the governor's desk, potentially helping folks move on from past cannabis charges, because carrying a weed charge forever over something not legal feels like as outdated as dial-up internet. If any of you remember that out there. Some Democratic lawmakers are urging President Trump to release federal marijuana prisoners if rescheduling moves forward. Supporters say cannabis reform shouldn't stop at policy changes. Folks sitting in prison while dispensaries make millions, yep, people got questions about that. Cannabis companies are learning brand loyalty matters more than ever as consumers shop smarter as prices stay competitive. Basically, dispensaries are trying to become the Starbucks of weed. Hi, welcome back. Would you like your usually gummies today? A federal judge dismissed a lawsuit from an anti marijuana group challenging a hemp related healthcare coverage program. So for now, the legal challenge got shut down pretty quick. Somewhere, lawyers just sent invoices and said, well, that didn't go how we planned. A new poll says Virginia voters are not thrilled about the governor's marijuana veto. Apparently, a lot of folks wanted legal sales moving forward. Virginia politics really out there learning the hard way. Never stand between people and convenient dispensary access. Virginia got what? How many articles we did on you
Yeah.
this week?
Mhm.
Whew, all in the news, baby. Phew, my gosh. Where am I here? New VA document suggests veterans' cannabis access could expand if federal marijuana rescheduling moves forward, though some restrictions may still be in place. Veterans have been asking for options for years because maybe, just maybe, healing shouldn't feel like a bureaucracy at home. Michigan cannabis businesses in rural areas may start moving as taxes and competition continue squeezing growers and retailers. Some operators are feeling pressure to survive running a cannabis business. Right now, sounds like farming mixed with accounting during a tornado. Congressional committee approved a bill to develop cannabis impairment standards, aiming to better understand what actually equals impairment, which honestly makes sense because you look kind of high, probably shouldn't be the gold standard for science. Delaware signed a bill allowing terminally ill patients to use medical marijuana in hospitals. Supporters say it's about compassion and patient comfort during incredibly difficult times. Because if someone's facing the hardest chapter of their life, dignity and relief shouldn't be controversial. And that's
That is
political
the
state
truth.
and business news. Thanks, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite journalists who does we do a lot of reading, Reginald Reefer. This is Dear Wall Street Journal. Your students need better legalization arguments. I can't wait to hear this one, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. So in this article, the Wall Street Journal gave kids, college kids that is, a chance to explain marijuana legalization. So Reginald Reeford always comes in with a really good perspective, and this is a summary of his perspective. So if you want like the real meat and potatoes, check out the link that will be attached to the article description. All right, this one comes from cannabis.net. And it's basically a response piece to a Wall Street Journal Future View discussion where college students debated whether marijuana legalization should happen and what arguments actually hold up. The article's big point? If we're going to debate cannabis legalization, we should probably use stronger facts and better logic instead of old school scare tactics. Now, this wasn't really a weed is perfect article. It was more of a let's be intellectually honest article. The authors argued that a lot of legalization debates still lean on outdated talking points, especially around teen access, social harm, and public safety, without always matching what newer data is showing in legal states. One example the article pushes back on is the idea that legalization automatically equals a youth use explosion. The argument can be made here that regulated markets may actually create barriers that illegal markets never had, like ID checks, testing standards, and accountability. Because let's be honest, your neighborhood dealer wasn't exactly asking for a driver's license. Meanwhile, at licensed dispensaries, there's security, cameras, age verification, a whole process. The broader debate around teen access is still ongoing, but several reports in recent years have shown youth cannabis use in some legalized states is staying flat or even declining rather than spiking dramatically. The article also makes the point that legalization conversations often get framed like there are only two choices: total prohibition or chaos. But supporters of regulated cannabis markets argue there's middle ground: legal, regulated, taxed, and age-restricted access, similar to alcohol policy, while still recognizing risks for younger people and developing brains. And to be fair, even pro-legalization folks generally agree cannabis isn't meant for kids and should be treated responsibly. Now, for balance here, there are still critics who argue legalization creates normalization, increases overall access, or introduces new public health concerns. That conversation definitely hasn't gone away. But the Cannabis.net piece argues that if legalization opponents want stronger arguments, they need to move beyond fear based messaging and engage with what current evidence actually says. And honestly, that may be the bigger takeaway. Whether you support cannabis legalization or not, the conversation keeps evolving. More states are legal, more research is happening, and more people are asking the same question. What does smart cannabis policy actually look like? A future with fair and sensible policies surrounding cannabis? One can dream, right?
Yeah, one can dream every
Yeah.
night. International news. A new global cannabis report says pricing pressures are shaping emerging cannabis market worldwide, with some countries struggling to stay profitable as prices drop. Basically, cannabis businesses across the globe are learning the same painful lesson. Growing weed is easier than surviving spreadsheets. Canadian cannabis brands are reportedly stuck on the sidelines during major sports events because strict advertising rules keep them from joining sponsorship opportunities. Imagine having legal weed and still not being able to slap your logo on a soccer jersey. Canada said, legal, but calm down. South African officials recently visited a legal cannabis cultivation facility as the country continues exploring industry growth and opportunities. Cannabis tourism and production could be big businesses there. Somewhere, government officials turned to grow and suddenly became very interested in agricultural policy. Italy's hemp industry is shifting focus back towards food and fiber markets as industrial demand picks back up. Hemp pasta, hemp textiles, hemp construction. Italy out here saying, if we can turn tomatoes into magic, watch what we can do with hemp. Officials say St. Martin say the cannabis legalization process is moving forward through current leaders say they inherited the framework from previous government. Translation, politicians everywhere still love saying, hey, don't blame us. We just got here. Jersey's cannabis industry reportedly turned its first profit while exports tripled through experts say more economic value is still leaving the island than staying local. So basically, the cannabis businesses finally made money and immediately learned adulthood means bills still show up. Thailand's cannabis market appears mostly unfazed by newer rules, with businesses continuing to adapt despite tighter regulations. Cannabis shops there are basically shrugging like, cool story, anyway, back to selling products. Entrepreneurs always find a way to keep the lights on. And that's international news, everybody. And there's a new scary movie. What is this, number 6,000? 6,000? Scary movie 6,000?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. So, but there's something that this movie did that's blowing up right now across the internet and across movie theaters everywhere. And Mrs. Weedman is going to tell you about it. So, scary movies, popcorn bucket is breaking the internet. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. All right. Whoever approved this marketing campaign clearly said, you know what? Let's absolutely lean into the stoner crowd. According to International High Life, the upcoming Scary Movie 6 has the internet losing its mind after teasing a bong-shaped popcorn bucket to promote the movie. Yep, not a typo. A full-on popcorn holder designed to look like a giant glass bong or dab rig, depending on who you ask. And honestly, the internet had an opinion. The viral teaser dropped through official movie social media with the caption, "Y'all weren't ready," and apparently they were right. The design features what looks like a scientific-style bong filled with popcorn, complete with a side piece that appears to double as a butter dispenser.
So funny.
Because apparently, movie merch has entered its absolutely unhinged era. Now, here's where it gets funny. People online immediately started debating whether the thing was fake, real, or just a marketing troll. Some fans were hyped and ready to buy one immediately, while others wondered how in the world you're even supposed to eat popcorn out of something like that. Reddit comments ranged from, "I need this immediately," to, "How do you even scoop popcorn from that?" Which honestly feels like a fair question. And the facts got a little messy too. Some reports say the bucket would hit theaters on June 5th alongside the movie release, possibly through chains like AMC and Regal. Other reports later claim the item may have only been created as a promotional stunt and that it's not actually for sale. The internet seems split on whether people will truly get to walk into a theater carrying what looks like a 6-foot dab rig full of buttered popcorn. But what is confirmed is that the new movie reunites original stars like Marlon Wayans, Shawn Wayans, Anna Faris, and Regina Hall, with the movie expected to parody modern horror hits and reboot culture. The film hits theaters June 5th, and maybe the bigger story here is that cannabis culture keeps creeping deeper into mainstream entertainment and marketing. 10 years ago, a major movie studio opening using bong imagery for promotion probably would have raised eyebrows. Today, it goes viral, gets memes, and half of the internet says, okay, where do I buy one?
That's pretty good. I might just have to go see that movie just to get that thing, just to say, I got one. So it'd be kind of funny. I probably wouldn't even stay for the movie. Wait for it to come out on Netflix or something and then watch it. Just get the bong. But it's genius to see the buttered popcorn and the butter in the rig part of it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And the dab holder. It's insane. And Mrs. Weedman likes her butter. You need a little salt thing in there, though.
Yeah, you need a little salt shaker.
Yep, something. Pretty good weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that third round we hit it, I was like, oh boy.
I think I'm a little slow. In a good way.
Yep. Mrs. Weedman.
Yep.
That's the end of the show.
That's it.
Got anything else to say before we go?
Have a great week, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed your Memorial Day festivities if you were celebrating. And thank you for our servicemen and women.
Appreciate y'all out there. We love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. Be kind to one another. Go live some fucking life. Enjoy this weather. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.